Hi everyone, it's Ishika and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial demonstrates a soft, glam, and glowy look, which is super easy to do. All products will be listed below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to see how I achieve this look, then please keep watching. First is moisturizer. I use the Multi-Active Day Cream by Clarins, which is one of my favorites. I then prep the skin with a quick spray of MAC Fix Plus. For brows, I use the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in Ebony with a small angled brush from Bdellium Tools. I use the brow pomade to enhance my natural brow shape by making it slightly thicker and add strands of hair towards the inner part of the brow just to make it look a little more feathery. I then set the brows with the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in the shade Ebony with another brow brush. This is the Lizoitier Cosmetics, I believe it's called the Dual Applicator Lash and Brow Brush, if I can remember correctly. I'll have the actual name listed in the description box. Whatever foundation I'm wearing that day, I always use it to clean up my brows as well. So this is the Milani 2-in-1 Foundation and Concealer in the shade 09 Tan. I use it with an e.l.f. concealer brush just to clean up around the edges and make it look a little more neat. The brow gel of choice for this look is the Gosh Defining Brow Gel in the shade 004, just to set all the hairs into place. For the eyeshadow base, I'm using the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, and I'm applying it with a flat concealer brush. Starting off with the Morphe 350 palette, using the shade in the second column from the left at the very bottom, that tan color shade. I'll use that to define my crease, and this will also act as my transition shade. I'm using the Smudger C420 brush by Royal and Langnickel. Next, I will use this shade just to slightly deepen the crease. Then, taking a small pencil brush, I'm using the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Deluxe from the Shaaanxo collection and adding it to the outer corners of my lids. Then, taking the Shadow Couture palette from Anastasia, I'm taking my favorite shade, Fudge, with a standard size pencil brush and just applying it to the outer corners as well as in the crease and smoking it out. It's the perfect shade to create a beautiful, sultry, soft, smoky look. Then I'm going back and using the transition shade just to blend out any harsh lines. Then, taking a ColourPop shadow in the shade Kathleen Lights, I am using a flat shadow brush just to apply it to the center of the lids. Taking this French Vanilla type of shade, I'm applying it under the brows and inner corner and just blending it all together. I'm using the 785 Bdellium Tool Fluffy Blending Brush. And for my liner, I am going to use my ever so trusted tattoo liner by Kat Von D in Trooper to create the most perfect wing. I'm going to go over the liner with the Matte Liquid Liner by NYX just to add some texture contrast because the lids are so shiny. I wanted the liner to be extra matte. On to complexion. I am priming my face using the Lancome Pro and just taking a small pea size and pressing it into the skin. Next, I'm taking the NYX Dark Circle Concealer in the shade 04 Deep and applying it to the darker pigmented areas with a flat concealer brush. So I use this mainly to just conceal a little bit, or actually counter any little bit of darkness under my eyes that I've developed over the years in the corners of my mouth, as well as acne scarring. It's such an amazing product at such an affordable price. Next, I'm taking my blending sponge and just pressing it into the skin so that it doesn't move around when I apply my foundation. I don't find that it mixes the foundation or concealer, so if you haven't tried it, you definitely should. Back with my Milani foundation, I'm just taking a flat foundation brush and depositing the color onto my face, and then I'm going to take my wet beauty sponge and bounce it into my skin just to give it a nice airbrush finish. This helps kind of, camouflage the color corrector that's underneath without moving it around. I do also like using foundation brushes, but for this sort of full coverage foundation, it's just my preference to use a beauty sponge. But whatever you feel comfortable with, then definitely use that. Now, if you're wondering about the sponge, it's actually from Shoppers Drug Mart, and if you're in Canada, you know what that is. It's the Quo sponge, and it's $6, which is a fantastic price point, especially if you just want a more affordable option to the Beauty Blender. For cream contour, I used the Sculptor from Tarte just to define the typical areas that you would contour, like the hollows of your cheeks and the side of the nose. And then I take a flat top foundation brush and just blend it all in circular motions. Now going in with the Bright Future Concealer in the shade Pecan Pie, just for some extra highlight. So under the eyes, on my nose, forehead, you get the idea. And then I'm going to take my beauty sponge again, but the other side, the pointed side, and just bounce it into the skin so that it blends seamlessly into my foundation. Taking my Laura Mercier translucent powder, I'm just setting the highlighted areas and going to let it bake for just a few seconds. I tend not to let the under eye bake for too long because I am quite dehydrated there, so if I leave it for too long it gets very creased and dry looking. So I let that sit for a few seconds while I blend my face powder in, which is the Smashbox Halo Hydrating Powder in medium. And then I take another fluffy brush, it's a little bit more dense, from Bdellium, just to sweep away the excess powder. To set my contour, I take the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade 05 Soleil and just blend it over where I've applied my cream contour. This is the Soleil Beauty Give Me Glow powder in the shade Hollywood Glow. It's such a beautiful highlighter, especially when you apply it with a fan brush. So I just add it to the tops of my cheeks as well as my nose and Cupid's bow, just to give a nice radiance and illumination to my skin. For blush, I'm using the Color Icon blush from Wet n Wild in the shade Mellow Wine. So I'm taking the same highlighter and just applying it to my brow bone as well as my inner corner highlight, just to kind of glow it up a little bit more. So I had to apply my lashes off camera because my battery was dying, but they're the Paige Trend lashes in Sapphire, and I'm just taking my Benefit They're Real mascara and applying it to the bottom lashes. Now taking my Huda Beauty Liquid Matte in the shade Trophy Wife and just applying it all over. I do have quite a few of these, about 9, and I was thinking of doing a lip swatch video, so if that's something that you're interested in seeing, definitely let me know down below and I'd be more than happy to do so, and I can add in, you know, a little bit of a mini review as well. And I'll finish everything off by setting my face with the NYX Dewy Mist Spray. And that concludes the video. I'll have all the products listed in the description box below, as well as my social media, so that you know where to find me. Also, don't forget to subscribe so that you'll know when I post my next video. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Bye!